there, bookish friends. My name's Gabby. Thanks for stopping by my channel, Lefty Reads. If you've been following me for a long time, you've probably realized that I didn't really upload that much during the school semester. But the semester is over. So I figured I'd do a fall favorites, fall wrap-up kind of video, get you updated on what I've been reading and what I thought of those, and just kind of like what's been going on in my life. During the semester, I didn't read a bunch, but I'm not really that surprised. I tend to not read a ton when school's in session. I read 4 novels and 2 graphic novels. The first novel I read was Noggin by John Corey Whaley. I read this for my young adult fiction writing class. It's about this 16-year-old boy who was dying of cancer, and then he essentially decided to get his head chopped off and frozen until scientists learned how to connect it to another body so he could live again. He expected that to take about 60, 70, 100, 200 years. It took 5. So now it's his head and his brain on some other guy's body, and he's kind of trying to deal with that transition and deal with the fact that the whole world is basically 5 years ahead of him. I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it had a really cool concept. I thought it was fun. The voice was really engaging. It really captured my attention, but I did not particularly love the protagonist. I did not like how he treated other people and how he was very self-absorbed, and I just wish that he would have thought of other people and how like his situation was hard for them too, but I just didn't love him. I thought his priorities were very skewed, and I thought that this was going to be kind of a really cool sci-fi-ish book, but it just kind of had those sci-fi elements in the background, and it read way more like a contemporary book, and that's just not what I wanted it to be. Then I read The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. I also read this for my young adult fiction writing class. I liked this one more than Noggin. This was probably my favorite thing that we read in that class, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought that much like Noggin, it had a very engaging voice. It was quick and engrossing, and I was able to be more emotionally invested in the protagonist, whereas I was not with Noggin. Oh yeah, and this one is about this teenage guy who lives on an Indian reservation, and I mean, I don't know about Indian reservations at all, and I'm not trying to like criticize any of them, but this one in this book is kind of fucked up. It's very, you live there, you die there, you probably get drunk every day, you just kind of throw your life away, kind of Indian reservation. And so the protagonist of this story kind of wants to get himself away from that. So he starts going to the school off the reservation, and just crap hits the fan from there. This book also had some illustrations throughout that I thought were really interesting and cool. And it does this wonderful job balancing humor with heartbreak. Like, it's got these very heavy, very painful subjects like prejudice, bullying, poverty, deals with all that, but it manages to do so in a way that is like humorous, and that humor like helps you realize just how sad the situation is. My biggest complaint, I think, would be that this book was published in 2007, and so that was a time when political correctness wasn't exactly as prominent as it is today. And so throughout this book there are phrases and terms and slang that are generally frowned upon now, and it's hard to like see past that, because I had to keep reminding myself that like this was in 2007, and even though that wasn't super long ago, like times were different, social expectations were different. So if you keep that in mind while you're reading, it's easier to get through it. And if you look past that kind of stuff, it's really an enjoyable book. It's one that I'd probably recommend to people who don't read a ton, just because it's very quick and it's fun to get through. The next novel I read was Wild Palms by William Faulkner. This book has 2 separate narratives that aren't connected in any way. One is called The Wild Palms, the other is called The Old Man. The Wild Palms is about this couple, and their relationship is a little taboo, so they kind of like run off to be together, and then they just make stupid decisions, so they're like struggling to like make it in the world. And then the Old Man section is about literally this convict trying to survive a flood. I didn't give this book a rating just because I tend to not rate classics, because I judge them very differently than I do the books I read just for funsies. I will say that I really liked the Wild Palm section. I thought it was really interesting, and while I didn't necessarily agree with the characters' decisions and I thought that they were foolish, I did become emotionally invested, and so I really wanted to see what happened to them. I didn't like the Old Man section at all. I thought it was really boring, but Faulkner has this very, very long-winded way of writing. and it was a enormous struggle to get through the old man section, but I am proud of myself for reading the book in full because I tend to just like spark note or just skim through books like this for when I'm reading for class, and I actually didn't this time, so go me. And the final novel that I read was Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. This book is about this girl who was actually like the world's fattest teen. She was like dubbed that. And then this guy with face blindness, and it's just kind of about how they come together and how they learn to accept themselves. That's a very, very simplified summary, but it's kind of the best I can give. I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars, but I really think that it's more towards like 4.25. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed being inside the brains of both of the main characters because it is told from 2 separate points of view. I liked both the characters. I liked them together. I really, really enjoyed their relationship. There are a lot of touching moments, and there is body positivity preached, which is awesome. I know that a lot of people were wary about this book because they thought that there would be unhealthy representation, and I don't want to dive into that too much because I'm trying to make this a quick wrap up. I do want to have like a discussion video about it in the future, but I would just want to say that I personally didn't find any problems with the representation in this book. Other people might have. I've been seeing more positive reviews than anything, but from what I could tell, it was some healthy representation. And the 2 graphic novels that I read were Saga Volume 1 and Volume 2. I also did not rate these because these are the first graphic novels that I ever read, and I just feel like I'm not qualified to really give a rating. I don't know if that makes sense. I love these a lot. They make me really, really want to get into more graphic novels. Since I'm new to this medium of writing, I will say that there were parts where I got a little bit confused, so I'm going to have to like reread them before I read Volume 3 to really like get everything situated in my brain, but I don't think that's the author's fault. I think it's just because I just have never read graphic novels before, so I have to kind of get used to the formatting. I just adore this series so far. I've only read the first 2. It's got some really, really funny dialogue, and I really enjoy the art style. I don't know much about like drawing and stuff, so I don't really know how to describe it, but it's just really good. If you have never read any graphic novels before, I would really suggest checking these out because they've been a great like starter for me, and so I'm really excited to get more into that formatting. So now I'm going to talk about my favorites of the fall semester. I've never really done a favorites video, but I always love watching them, and so I figured I might as well just give it a shot. For my favorite books, I chose Saga Volume 1 and 2 and Holding Up the Universe. I just talked about these, so I don't think I really need to explain that any. For favorite movies that I watched this semester, the first one is The Storks. This is an animated film about these storks who used to bring babies, but now they deliver things like iPhones and all that until this human who leaves catastrophe in her wake all the time accidentally makes a baby. I did not expect to love this movie at all. Like, my friend wanted to go see it and I did not, so she had to pay for me to go see it because I just was not feeling it. But I love this so much. I mean, it has problems, like it is not a perfect movie, but I just cackled the entire time. Like, it was so funny and it was just really cute, and it gave me some happy feels toward the end. So if you're into animated films, you're just looking for some mindless entertainment, like this is the movie to turn to. Like, I need more people to watch this because I actually am obsessed with it. I'm probably going to be buying it when it comes out on DVD. My next movie choice is The Last 5 Years. I watched this on Netflix and it is just absolutely beautiful. I can't exactly explain what it's about, but it's basically about this couple. One is a successful writer, the other is a struggling actress, and it's kind of how their relationship dissolves, which sounds like a typical cliche movie. Oh, it's a musical too. It's a musical. And it's told unchronologically, so it's basically told from 2 different perspectives, and it starts with Kathy's perspective, who's the struggling actress, and her story starts at the end of their relationship and works toward the beginning, while Jamie, who is the successful writer and the husband, his story starts at the beginning and works toward the end, and you just kind of see both their sides of the story and like how they cross, and it's just so good. It's so emotional. It's just beautiful. The songs are absolutely incredible. Like, I watched this movie 3 times already because it's so fantastic. For TV shows, I have a lot of favorites this fall semester, so I'm not going to talk about them too much, especially considering a lot of them are specific seasons. First, we have Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life, of course. I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to say that this reboot was everything I needed it to be. It felt just very natural, slipping back into this world and into Stars Hollow, and it was great. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And while I know there are no plans for another season of the reboot currently, I really need there to be. My next favorite is Fuller House Season 2. This show is the cheesiest, most contrived show I have ever seen. It is literally there for the sake of nostalgia, but I love it. It just is everything to me. Like, I binge watched the entire thing in like a day, and it was just so great. And I can't wait for season 3 already. Then I absolutely fell in love with the 3rd season of Reign. I love this show. It's so good, it's so addicting, and the 3rd season was good. It was sad, it wasn't what I wanted, but it was still really good. And after I finished it, I have been trying to find other shows like this. Like, I tried watching The Tudors and The Crown, but they just don't compare to Reign. And then I got super duper into the show Skin Wars. I think there's 2 seasons on Netflix, and I watched them both, like, without a problem. There might even be 3. I don't know. I watched every episode. It's so good. I really did not expect to just become addicted to it, but oh my gosh, who knew the world of body painting was so interesting? And the last of my favorites for TV shows goes to American Horror Story Season 6. This was not the best season. I really don't think anything compares to the first 3 seasons of this show, but it was still hecka good. Like, when I look at it as a whole, I'm not as enthused, but episode by episode was just so intense, and I was so into it. Me and my friends watched it religiously. It was so good, and it was so interesting. I can't wait till season 7. I'm already dying of anticipation. Now for music. When it comes to finding new music, I'm not very good at it. I tend to stay in my bubble and just kind of listen to the songs I like, which is weird because I love music and I love discovering new things I like. But my favorites for this semester was the last 5 years soundtrack, specifically the song Still Hurting, which Anna Kendrick sings. This whole soundtrack is just fantastic. It's beautiful. It's got a great combination of sad and fun. I love it. Sometimes I just listen to the entire soundtrack back to back to back, but Still Hurting is definitely my favorite song on the soundtrack. I also fell in love with the song Broadway, Here I Come, which is sang by Jeremy Jordan, and this is from the 2nd season of Smash. Jeremy Jordan was also in the last 5 years, by the way. This song is just fun. I just really like it. It makes me jam. Then my final favorite for music for this fall semester is the cover that 21 Pilots did of the song Cancer. I am obsessed with 21 Pilots. They are literally my favorite band in the entire world. And their cover of the song Cancer, which I don't know who it was originally sung by, my bad, but they covered it and it's just beautiful. It's heartbreaking. Like, I cried the first time I listened to it. So amazing. Listen to 21 Pilots because they're really freaking good. And the last of my favorites that I'm going to talk about are just my life favorite events that occurred. My very first and biggest and most important favorite that happened in my life this past semester is that I got a cat. I showed him in my last video, but this is my baby Rascal. He is not like the camera apparently. So fun fact about Rascal is that my roommate and I are not supposed to have him. I'm at home right now, but we live in an apartment on campus and they do not allow pets. So we've kept him hidden for an entire semester. We haven't been caught yet, so there's that. Hopefully the luck continues. We got him at a piercing parlor. I went in to get my cartilages pierced, and the piercing place had this cage of kittens that they found like outside of their shop. And so I wanted to go play with him because I love cats. And I picked him up. He was just the cutest little rascal I have ever seen in my life. He ruined the front of my roommate's shirt, which is why we named him Rascal, actually. And my roommate was just like, Gabby, I think we should take him. And I was like, okay. I tried putting him down at one point and I just started crying because I couldn't leave him. So I was meant to have him. He has my entire heart and soul. So there. So now if you hear any weird noises, it's probably him playing around. My next life favorite event is that I was initiated into the international music women's fraternity called Sigma Alpha Iota. I am already a part of Alpha Sigma Tau, which is a social sorority, and Sigma Alpha Iota is a service fraternity. And it's for music, and I'm a diehard choir kid. And me and my two best friends rushed, and we got our bids, and we've been initiated now. And I'm just so excited about this. I love the people that are a part of it so far, and I'm just really excited to be a part of this organization. And then my final life event that I'm really excited about is that I was named the Director of Philanthropy for Alpha Sigma Tau, which is my social sorority. This is a position that I wanted very badly. I love philanthropic work. I have a very deep passion for it. So I'm really excited to have this position where I can plan events and get lots of people on campus involved, and I really can't wait. Our overall philanthropy for Alpha Sigma Tau is women's wellness, but our chapter specifically works with the American Heart Association, which this is a new thing that just happened. We just changed philanthropies, and I just think that that is really cool. And I'm excited to not only do stuff for the American Heart Association, but to also do things for women's wellness in general, other organizations that promote women's wellness. So that's it for my fall semester wrap-up and favorites. I've never really done a video like this before, so I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments some of your favorite things that have happened these past few months. Let's talk. I want to get to know you better. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you found any sort of entertainment value in this video whatsoever, and press subscribe if you want to stay updated on when and what I post. In the dingle hopper, I've left links to other places you can find me, like Instagram and Twitter and my blog, so you should hit those up and we can talk more, because I really love you guys and I want to get to know you more. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye bookish friends.